and welcome to classroom teaching. Students, in last video we have seen about the refraction of light. That means whenever the light it travels from one transparent medium to another transparent medium, it bends. Bends means it changes its direction of propagation. And this bending, it depends upon the refractive index that we learn. And one more thing, this refractive index, it depends upon the velocity of the light in that particular medium. Why I am saying all this? Because the concept that we are going to learn today, it also depends on the same thing. One simple activity is given in the book. Take a scale, plastic scale, and see towards the light. See towards the tube light or any light. We can easily see different colors in it. From where the colors are coming? कुठून आले हे colors? The light is white light, but we know this white light, it consists of different colors. Actually, we know light is electromagnetic radiation and wavelength is the main property of this electromagnetic radiation. Very important property of electromagnetic radiation. And human eye, it has limitations. We can see the light which we call as visible light, which ranges the wavelength from 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer. So the frequencies of this much range that our eyes can see, and therefore we call this light as visible light. It may be light from tube, bulb or any sunlight. So this is of the range, the wavelength is of the range of 400 to 700 nanometer. And all these colors that we can see in this light, आता जी तुम्हाला ऍक्टिव्हिटी दाखवली, तुम्ही तुमच्या घरी स्केलने पाहू शकता. आपल्याला वेगवेगळे कलर्स दिसतात. आणि हे कलर्स कुठले आहेत? A short form that we always give, VIBGYOR. That means these 7 colors we can see. What are these? Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. And they are in the same sequence also. So the red light, it has the maximum frequency, wavelength, that is 700 nanometer. And the violet light, it has the minimum frequency, that is 400 nanometer near about, and therefore we can see all these colors. And as in last period that we have seen, the refractive index of any medium, the bending of light, it depends on the velocity of the light. In vacuum, if we see all these wavelengths, that means we can talk about frequency, because we know the velocity of light, it depends on frequency of that particular light. And therefore, the velocity of all these colors, it is same in case of vacuum. But whenever this light enters into any another transparent medium, then the velocity of light, it is different for different colors. That means whenever this light travels from plastic scale, all these colors which are present in that white light, they have different velocities, and therefore the refractive index of that particular medium, it is different for different colors of light, and therefore they travel, they bend in with different angles. The refraction Angle of refraction is different for different light, and therefore we can see all these different colors, 7 colors separately. And this particular phenomenon, it is definitely nothing but refraction. The refraction of every color of light, it is different for different media, or for same media the refraction is different because the refractive index is different for them. So this phenomenon, it is nothing but refraction, but as the colors get separated, white light splits into 7 different colors. We call this phenomenon as dispersion of light. We call this phenomenon as dispersion. So what is dispersion then? Dispersion is nothing but the process of separation of light into its component colors when passing through any transparent or any medium is called as dispersion of light. What is it? The process of separation of light into its component colors. What is the meaning of component colors? Component color means all these 7 colors are present in white light. Only they get separated by means of any medium. Whenever it travels into any medium, all these colors get separated. And why they get separated? Because the refractive index for each color of light, it is different. Instead of this white light, if we use any red light or any green light, that means if we use a laser, and if this light passes through the any medium, then definitely a particular refraction we can see. But instead of this white light, if we use red light, if we use white light, then the red light, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet, all these 7 colors, they have different velocities in that particular medium, and therefore they have different refractive indexes, and therefore they get separated. Newton was the first scientist who split this sunlight by using a glass prism. So the diagram, it can be asked into exam, and you may make many mistakes. Let us see. I will draw a diagram here. Suppose a white light, it travels. Suppose this is the incident ray of light. It falls here on this surface. I will draw the incident direction also. So actually the refraction or dispersion, that means splitting of colors, separation of colors, it starts from this point only. Because from this point, this is a glass prism, and therefore the light ray, it enters from air to glass, and therefore the separation starts from this point. And as the red light, it bends a little, therefore it travels in this direction. At this another point, what happened? As it is entering from glass to air again, therefore the bending is there again, so it bends again here. So the meaning is, if white light, it is falling on the prism, the emergent red ray, it travels in this direction. Then all these colors that we know, Vibgyor, remember this short form. All other colors, they also get separated, and the separation, it is from here, it is from this point. And this bending, again the bending occurs at this point also, because it is traveling from one medium to another medium again. So in this way the light, it travels so actually the 7 different colors are coming out. You can see the dispersion of light, the video of dispersion of light here in this video. So whenever the white light, it falls on prism, then as the refractive index for different colors of light, it is different for different colors for a particular medium like glass. Then therefore all these 7 colors, they get separated, and it is nothing but given by the short form that we say V I B G Y O, and here it is R, Vibgyor. So it is nothing but the short form. So the maximum bending, it takes place of violet light, and the minimum bending, it takes place of red light. And whenever the light is coming from this prism, we can easily see the 7 colors here, and this is called as spectrum of light, we can see. So this is about the dispersion of light. मॅक्सिमम चुका कुठे होतात माहितीये का? ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही डायग्राम काढत असता त्यावेळेस यू मस्ट ड्रॉ द इन्सिडेंट डायरेक्शन. This direction you must draw there, because all the bending, it takes place, all the light, they bend, and therefore no light ray, it goes above this. याच्यावर कुठलाच कलर गेला नाही पाहिजे. बऱ्याच जणांच्या चुका ज्या होतात त्या कशा होतात बघा, इन्सिडेंट लाईट या इथून स्प्लिटिंग सुरू करतात या पद्धतीने. सो इट इज डेफिनेटली रॉंग. तुम्हाला परीक्षेमध्ये या पद्धतीची डायग्राम देतात आणि तुम्हाला तिला करेक्ट करायला सांगतात. करेक्ट द गिवन डायग्राम. ही एक चूक असते. द सेकंड मिस्टेक दॅट वी मेक, so many diagrams, many of you, they draw like this. So actual the splitting of light takes place from this place, and all the light rays, they travel below the incident direction. Incident direction च्या सगळे खाली असतात. Okay, so this is a very simple phenomena or very simple article, that is nothing but dispersion of light. What is dispersion? The splitting of or separation of component colors of white light by whenever it travels from a particular medium or any medium. So this is nothing but the dispersion of light. And there are so many applications of this dispersion of light also. But one more concept is given. Now let us see that concept. The second very important concept that we are going to see, it is nothing but partial and total internal reflection. Here it is reflection is given. Partial and total internal reflection. Here the word is reflection and not refraction. It is total internal reflection. What is it? Suppose this diagram is given. Water is present in it. And we all know whenever the light it travels from comparatively denser medium to rarer medium, what happened? It bends away from the normal. What happened? It bends away from the normal. That means, suppose, let us take an example. Suppose the light is traveling from here. Suppose it is traveling from water to air. What happened? Definitely it bends away from normal. Right? The meaning of that is angle of incidence. See, the angle of incidence and angle of refraction. Angle of refraction is always greater than angle of incidence. Suppose the light, it travels in this direction. Now, make a normal here. This is angle of incidence. So, the angle of refraction, it must be greater than angle of incidence. So, definitely it is more than, this is angle of refraction. If we go on increasing the angle of incidence, what happens? One time comes whenever the angle of refraction, one time comes when the angle of refraction it becomes 90 degree. Okay, for any angle of incidence, the angle of refraction must be equal to 90 degree. साधी गोष्ट आहे, जर आपण अँगल ऑफ इन्सिडेंस 30 घेतला, अँगल ऑफ रिफ्रॅक्शन 30 पेक्षा जास्त असेल, 40 असेल समजा. अँगल ऑफ इन्सिडेंस 60 घेतला, अँगल ऑफ रिफ्रॅक्शन suppose it is 80. If we go on increasing the angle of incidence, what happen? Angle of refraction also increases, and for one angle of incidence, the angle of refraction it becomes 90 degree, and this is called as critical angle. So this is suppose I, this is I1. So this angle of incidence for which the angle of refraction is 90, it is called as critical angle. So it is IC, I critical, incidence angle, but it is critical angle. What is meant by critical angle? Critical means for which the angle of incidence, for which the angle of refraction is 90 degree. Let us suppose now I increase the angle of incidence. If it is more than critical angle, if the angle of incidence is, suppose it is more than that of critical angle, so this angle of incidence I, it is greater than IC, that means critical angle. It is more than critical angle. Then what happen? The angle of refraction must be more than 90, and therefore the light ray, it is not coming into air, or it is not going into another medium, but it travels into the same medium. And if the light ray, it is not transferring, it is not going from one medium to another medium, it must not be a refraction, but it is reflection. and we call it as total internal reflection. If the angle of incidence I it is greater than that of critical angle, then the total light it bends in the same medium, it remains in the same medium, it gets reflected in the same medium, and therefore we call it as total internal reflection. So what is partial internal reflection then? For all these cases, the light ray definitely it comes in this direction, refraction takes place, but it is partial reflection. Some light it travels in this medium also. So that is partial reflection. So for any angle of incidence, the partial internal reflection takes place, but only for the angle which is more than that of 90 more than that of critical angle. For that incident ray, the total internal reflection it takes place. I just want to show a very small activity here. From that we can easily see the partial and total internal reflection. So the light ray definitely it gets reflected, but if I go on increasing the angle of incident, then one time comes whenever the total light it remains in the same medium, that means it gets reflected. So let us see this small video. So this is a very simple activity. I use this transparent box and water. We can easily see that the light it coming back into this water, that means it is nothing but it is partial reflection, because some light it is going up. But if I change the angle of incidence, that means if I go on increasing the angle of incidence, now we can see that 100% light it come back into water. That means it is nothing but the total internal reflection. So it is this simple phenomenon we can easily say by this simple activity. So this is about total internal reflection. I use just a transparent box of plastic, water in it, and few drops of Dettol if we use in it. Then the light which is traveling through this water it becomes visible. The ray of light we can easily see. And to see the refraction, just make some smoke there in the upper part of that water in that box, then you can see the light which is traveling through that air also. So you can easily see the partial and total internal reflection. A very simple natural phenomenon that we can see, that is nothing but the रेनबो. या पावसाळ्याच्या दिवसामध्ये आपल्याला नेहमी रेनबो दिसतो. सो इट इज आल्सो द फिनॉमिनॉन which is responsible due to, or which is possible only due to the dispersion of light through the water droplet. This is phenomenon which takes place due to water droplets, and we can easily see it. So let us see that how the rainbow is formed. Suppose this is a water droplet, and if the incident ray of light it falls on it, that means suppose the white light it falls here, suppose the white light is falling here, then we know this water it is a denser medium, and whenever light travels through this medium, definitely the velocity of each and every color of light it is different, and therefore the light it splits. The light it splits into different colors. We can see this splitting of light. Actually the refraction is taking place, and along with the refraction dispersion is also taking place here. We will take only two colors, red and violet. All other 7 colors are in between it. So आपण फक्त हे 2 कलर्स घेतले. So the red light it disperses or it refracts less, and violet it refracts more. But from this place the total internal reflection it takes place. That means it gets reflected from here. It gets reflected. And while coming, again refraction takes place from this point. And we can say this is violet and this is red colored light. So this is a natural phenomenon in which all these 3 things we can see, we can understand. Which 3 things? 3 phenomena: the refraction of light, total internal reflection of light, and also dispersion of light. So the white light which is falling on this water droplet, it splits into 7 colors. That means dispersion takes place. Then from this surface the total internal reflection takes place, and again the refraction of light also takes place. And by the combination of all these 3 phenomena we can see a very fantastic rainbow in the sky. We can see this rainbow anytime, anywhere. कुठेही कधीही रेनबो आपल्याला पाहता येतो. काय लागणार आहे आपल्याला? Which things we need? We must need sun here. We require water droplets. Only these 2 things if we have, then we can see rainbow anywhere, anytime. तुम्ही घरी गार्डनिंग ज्यावेळेस करता, म्हणजे ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही गार्डन मध्ये पाणी देत असता पाईपने, त्यावेळेस सकाळच्या वेळेस जर तुम्ही असाल तर आपल्या मागच्या बाजूला सूर्य असेल हे लक्षात ठेवायचं. म्हणजे आपल्याला सकाळच्या वेळेस पश्चिमेकडे तोंड करून वर कारंजानी पाणी उडवावं लागेल, पाईपनी वर पाणी उडवावं लागेल. And see in that water droplets, you can easily see rainbow in that water droplets. संध्याकाळच्या वेळेस रेनबो बघायचा असेल तर तोंड कोणीकडे करावं लागेल? टुवर्ड्स ईस्ट, पूर्वेकडे करावं लागेल. कारंजा असेल, कारंजामध्ये सुद्धा आपल्याला हा रेनबो पाहता येऊ शकतो. सो ट्राय धिस ॲट होम. घरी प्रयत्न करा. The condition is only one: the water droplets must be in front of us and the sun must be behind us. आपण या ठिकाणी उभे आहोत. We are looking towards this water drops, and the sun is behind us. So this is about dispersion of light and the natural phenomenon of rainbow, and the concept of partial and total internal reflection that we have seen. So with this article we complete our first chapter, that is refraction of light. So for today we will stop, and in next video, in next next article that we are going to start, next lesson we are going to start, that is about light, also light only, that is lenses. Okay, so we will stop here.